Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Stomp This Way. How you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a Sunday night.
Yes, it is.
I gotta go to work tomorrow,
So do I.
but I'm getting there.
We'll make it.
It's Star Wars Day.
Star Wars
Happy
Day.
Star Wars Day, everybody. May the 4th be with you, or whatever. We did watch a Star Wars movie today.
Yes, we
In
did.
celebration, we watched Return of the Jedi, which was, a nice little treat. We also watched AVP today, which is unironically one of my guilty pleasures. I have a lot of nostalgia for that movie. Came out just the right age for me. But we also watched a third movie today. What movie was that, Andrew?
It was Ultraman Guide, the movie. Connect the Wishes.
That's right. They reminded me in this movie that they pronounced. I've been saying Ultraman Geed, but it's actually pronounced
G.
Ultraman Geed, like geriatric.
I don't know about that much.
The G is a J sound,
J. Not
not a G,
a G.
as in Godzilla. But anyway, yeah, we've seen the show. We've seen this movie before one time. What are your feelings on Ultraman Geed in general? Not counting the movie.
I thought it was an alright show, It wasn't, the greatest thing ever, but, I thought it was cool having, him as a son of Ultraman Belial and all that stuff.
Yeah, it all kinds of blend together with these modern Ultraman shows, but there were some elements I definitely liked. I liked the idea of he was, the son of
Evil
Belial. There was, speaking of Star Wars Day, kind of a Luke Vader parallel there, where he is the son of this very powerful but very evil Ultraman, and he has to kind of come to terms with that, and got to have that whole story arc. And I did like the I thought it was a lot of fun. The Leto or whatever was possessed by Ultraman Zero in the show, and how he would his real personality is very like a geeky business guy that very clumsy, but
It's kind of like Superman, because when he took off his glasses, he changed
the
personality.
Ultraman Zero personality would take over, and he'd be like a kick butt super guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and then the cast as a whole in that show was
It's all right.
fine. What's her name? The woman that Leia or whatever, Leah,
The one that stayed with him
yeah,
all the time.
yeah, the one that's like a samurai, kung fu chick.
Yeah.
She's pretty cool. Pega, his little alien friend
that travels through shadows.
that travels through the shadows. And then the computer or whatever of their little
Base.
hangout. Yeah, but yeah,
And
all
there
the
was the that one agency, the
AIP or whatever,
AIP.
and
He was an alien.
the alien, and then his babysitter, former babysitter or whatever she was, former childhood friend or whatever,
Yeah.
worked there, and she was very ditzy and whatever, and she would always try to cover up the fact that she was working for that alien agency.
Yeah.
They were kind of like the Men in Black, I don't know, of this universe. But anyway, yeah. So that was Ultraman G, the show. But we're here to talk about the movie. Alternate titles, sometimes simply called Ultraman Geed, the movie. Production trivia. That didn't find much on this movie. All I know that it was filmed, apparently, in September of 2017 on location in Okinawa.
Wow.
Andrew, what about the release date?
Well, it was released March 10th, 2018.
That's right. And I couldn't find any other box office information other than that. So, anyway.
The cast and crew.
Well, we got to listen to a trailer first.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll come back. We'll listen to the cast and crew.
Well,
and
list off the cast and crew, not listen.
List off the cast and crew. And then we'll talk all about Ultraman Geed, the movie. See you in a bit.
私はギルバリス不要な知的生命体は全て抹殺します無数のギャラクトロンが転送されています
街の人たちが消えていく
サイバー空間に飲み込まれているんだ
ギルバリスによりたくさん奪われた
みんなを守らなきゃ僕が
行く
ウルトラマン失格だ僕はヒーローなんかじゃない宇宙の平和を守るんじゃなかったのかウルトラマンだって完璧じゃない
あなたしかいないの宇宙を地球をギルバリスから守れるのは
リク行くぞじーっとしててもどうにもならない久しぶりに頼んだぜレイト喜んでゼロさん
みんなリクを信じてる
ブリッジメイトファイナル僕らはみんなでウルトラマンなんだ劇場版ウルトラマンチームつなぐぜ願い3月10日ロードショー
All right, we're back. This film is directed by Koichi Sakamoto, written by Toshizo Namoto and Hirotaka Adachi, music by Kenji Kawai, and starring Tetsuomi Hamada, Chihiro Yamamoto, Mayu Hasegawa, Yuta Ozawa, Yuika Motokaria, Kai Shishido, Jackie Chan. Not that Jackie Chan. It's a different Jackie Chan.
What a coincidence.
Well, I think he stage named Jackie Chan. But anyway, Takaya Oyagi and Hideo Ishiguro. And the plot is as follows. In ancient times, the alien Eru is forced to flee her planet from the alien Gavalas as he destroys her home. She lands on Earth, where she meets the guardian Gugulashisha. She has brought with her the Giga Finalizer, an old and powerful weapon. In modern day, a Galactron attacks before fleeing after a brief scuffle with Geed. Riku, Leia, is that her name? Leia, whatever. Mao, Zena, and their new acquaintance, Jugless Juggler, go to Okinawa, where they run into Leto by chance. The group meets Aru, now living life as a tour guide on the island. Another Galactron attacks, and Eru and Riku learn each other's real identities. After Gugulashisha is summoned and the robot flees, Eru reveals to Riku that the Giga Finalizer will only give his power to a worthy warrior, but the Finalizer does not accept Riku. The group then heads to an alien bar where they start a fight with the locals, and Guy appears and helps them win the brawl. Soon after, Gilvalis arrives with his digital planet and unleashes a Galactron army on Okinawa while digitizing the residents. Ultimate Force Zero arrives to help, but only Zero gets through the force field before it encircles the planet. Geed, Zero, and Orb battle the Galactrons, but they are defeated. Rico retreats into himself as his friends fight for their lives. Eru summons Gugulashisha, and Juggler uses her pendant to make himself giant to battle the Galactrons. Eru is then killed by a Galactron. Riku summons his will to fight, and the Finalizer finally accepts him and grants him its power. Orb and Zero also reappear, having survived the last fight. The three of them go inside the digital planet and defeat Gavalis. Riku and Ultimate Force Zero say their goodbyes as credits roll. In the mid-credit scene, Guy and Juggler promise to continue their struggle as Mao and Zena find Eru in the pages of the ancient text of the Pacific Records as the screen fades to black. More or less.
More or less.
Honestly, I didn't follow this plot very well, so I might have some things out of order or just completely wrong. I don't know. But maybe you can help me through this. But anyway, the movie starts, as a lot of these movies do, with it starts in ancient times on an alien planet. Some random alien planet is getting attacked by an enemy we've seen before, this Galactron, which is a robot I think has been in a couple different shows. And it's like a robo-dino thing. And this alien woman, we see her father die, and then she gets on a ship and runs away. And then the planet just digitizes and disappears.
Yep.
And now we cut to modern day, and the AIP is I think they're trying to follow Juggler's Juggler or something. And they end up in the middle of a fight when a Galactron appears, and then Jeed shows up and starts fighting it. And, then the Galactron just retreats, even though it's handily beating Jeed. And I guess our plot started. I am glad that Juggler's Juggler is in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's my favorite part of this movie. He immediately, from the first scene he's in, he has a personality. And I don't know if I can say that about much anybody else in this movie, but I just like the actor playing Juggler's Juggler.
Zero has a personality.
Zero does. And the character of Leto, once we get to him, now that I still like that carry over from the show and his dichotomy of being geeky and clumsy and
a
then
family man,
and then Zero taking him over and then being a kick butt martial artist. But yeah, so basically, listen, this movie has a very bare bones plot.
Oh,
a lot of confusing stuff, but if you just strip it down to its bare bones, it's the group from the show gets together, they run into Juggler's Juggler, they go on this Juggler's Juggler just immediately becomes part of the group. They don't really question his motives or anything, even though he straight up tells them maybe you can trust me, maybe you can't, who knows. And then
he's a very nonchalant guy.
They go on this little trip to Okinawa where they just totally by chance run into the other main cast member, Leto, because he's on a business trip there or something.
Waiting on his flight.
And he's of course doing a little Okinawa dance and slips on a banana peel, and it's this whole thing.
Classic.
And they've run into this Eru chick who is now living life as a human tour guide.
Yep.
For the Okinawa Islands. There must be something about, in that opening scene when she came to Earth, she met this lion guardian thing. There must be some real folklore or legend about lion guardians or something for Okinawa, because in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, they had King Caesar, which was this lion dog guardian thing, and they're gonna do that kind of same thing here. So
they like lion dog guardians,
I guess so. And anyway, so she shows them around, and then another Galactron attacks, and she figures out that Riku is Jeed, and I think she summons her little monster, and the Galactron retreats or something. But it was enough for Gilvalis, is that right? That was his name? To see that the Giga Finalizer was there, not to be confused with the Giga Battlenizer. Two different things, I guess.
Yes.
The Battlenizer resurrects dead kaiju. This Finalizer left pretty vague, I think, but it basically grants worthy warriors extra powers or something.
It was created to destroy the
Gilvalis' army?
Yeah, Gilvalis' army.
Who created it?
Remember they had that whole backstory about the ancient people that created the artificial intelligence to create peace on Earth, the peace in the universe, and then it got to the conclusion intelligent life is a threat to the universe, so it's going to wipe out all intelligent life.
I must have phased out in that part, but so basically they're doing the Skynet thing, the classic. We developed robots, but then they just to protect us, but they decided that we were our biggest threat to ourselves, and so got to wipe out intelligent life. Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah, we have the Giga Finalizer, and
they created that to destroy the AI.
Yeah, but it only will grant its power to a worthy warrior. It's like Thor's hammer. Mjolnir will only let the worthy pick it up or whatever. And so, what's his name? Riku is going to have kind of a Chris Hemsworth Thor story arc where he has to become worthy of the hammer. In this case, the Giga Finalizer, I guess. I will say one thing I appreciate about this movie is that it does try to give a character arc to its main protagonist, which is something that a lot of these things don't include. And like I said, so he's going to have to learn to be worthy of the finalizer. Now, you know, I feel like the show covered this whole, like, he's a mopey dopey character and then
several times
he has to learn to be a team person or whatever. But we're going to cover it again because, you know.
Why not?
Why not? And so basically his issue is that since Zero has left, I guess he has like an inferiority complex because everyone's always asking him, are you going to be okay without Zero? Are you going to be okay without Zero? But he's like, yes, I'm the warrior that will save everybody or whatever. But of course, you know, later when Orb shows up, he's going to have to talk with him like, you know, you can't shoulder it all by yourself. You got to rely on your friends or whatever. But yeah, so anyway, that happens. And then at some point they go to like, you know, AIP is like the Men in Black. We're going to have a scene kind of out of a Men in Black movie or something where they go to like the secret alien street bar or whatever. And they're going to get into a big bar fight. And Orb, you're going to hear that harmonica music. And Orb just shows up because you can't have a juggler in a movie without Orb. And
Guy.
Without Guy. And even though I think they did in Ultraman Z, but they kind of get into this big fight.
They had a whole show without Guy almost.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, you're pretty, it is kind of fun when Juggler like uses Leto as like, she's like, let's dance, and like uses his body to beat up the aliens. It's kind of funny because Juggler is like always calling Leto daddy.
Yeah,
or, like,
it was
their
all
translation
weird.
of it. He's like Papi-san or whatever. And
he's
like,
kind of weird to
kind
him.
of grabs his butt at one point. Yeah, it's just kind of a whole kind of
awkward thing.
But yeah, so that happens, and then I think is it at this point that Orb is like, "Why don't you go to a bathhouse with me?" Because it's like Orb's way of Guy's way of relaxing, and he's like, "No, I'll pass." I was like, maybe after that last scene from that last movie, that's a good idea. But anyway, I don't know. Eventually, Gavala shows up, and his whole digital planet's there, and he sends an army of Galactrons, and then Orb Zero. So we've had a couple of flashes to the Land of Light where like the main Ultra people are like, you know, Ultra Mother's like dispatch, or Ultra Father, Ultra Mother. One of them's like dispatch Ultra Force Zero or whatever. And so Ultra Zero and Ultraman Zero and his friends show up, but there's a force field enclosing around Earth, and only Zero is able to get through it. And anyway, Orb and Jeed and Zero fight the monsters, but they are not strong enough. And it looks like Zero and Orb die, shielding Jeed. And then Jeed runs out of power. And then he like does the retreating to himself and not speak to anybody and not want to fight. And, you know.
As any Ultraman does in this situation.
Yeah, as any Ultraman does. And Juggler like releases her lion guardian monster, and then Juggler takes her pendant and uses it to turn giant, and they're fighting. And then, you know, of course, Leah or whatever is fighting robots or whatever, little man robots, and everyone's doing their part to fight. And then, you know, Riku is just sitting there pouting.
Yeah.
And then Eru, like, she gets hit by a blast from a Galactron, and she uses her shield at first, but then she's not strong enough, and then it like blows up, and it looks like she's incinerated, but no, her body's just laying there. And even though she doesn't have a scratch on her, makeup and hair is still perfect. She's got apparently lethal wounds.
She's lost the will to live.
She simply lost the will to live, and she dies in Riku's arms, and after giving him some speech or something, and it gives him the willpower to fight again, and the finalizer accepts him for a warrior worthy, and he gets his powers, and at the same time, turns out Orb and Zero are completely unharmed.
Oh yeah.
And I guess Zero like teleported them out, and then he like retreated it back into Leto's body to heal or whatever, or something. And they get back into the fight, and they beat up the Galactrons, just as like Juggler's Juggler like runs out of power or whatever, and just walks off. And they go to the digital planet, and they. One of my issues with this movie is that the villain, I think, is kind of vague. Just kind of a non-presence.
Yeah.
Like he sends like some robot dinosaurs a lot. And even in this final fight, I'm confused. Like, I thought, because they kept talking about the like floating headless Gavalis or whatever, I thought it was going to be that bad guy alien that was like the main bad guy from, what was it? Ultraman Ginga or whatever. That was like the floating jarhead bad guy or whatever. But no, this is a different bad guy. Is this robot him, or is it just like this mega robot thing, just like another servant? Because later there's like a little floating red ball, I guess that's actually him,
Yeah.
that gets destroyed, I think.
It's the main guy.
Okay, well, the villain is just very like vague and not very good in this movie. But they beat the robot that's like loaded down with weapons or whatever, and save the day. And then the movie's got to hurry up and end because we're approaching the 70-minute mark.
Yep.
And so they have like the Ultra Force Zero is like saying goodbye on a beach to
Everybody.
to Riku and all that, and there's some tears, and they fly off, and then Leto runs out like, "Wait, you forgot your souvenirs," and it's supposed to be this big joke and everything.
Pega comes out and like, we bought so many.
I'll have to eat it all. Yeah, then it just immediately goes to credits, I think. And then there's a mid-credit scene where Guy and Juggler are passing each other, and he's like, they do the thing. Juggler's like, I still am going to defeat you one day or whatever. And then they go their separate ways.
And the harmonica theme plays.
Yeah, and then in the final end credit scene, like a damn Marvel movie here, they had like this thing earlier, like the Pacific Records,
Yeah.
which were like this like ancient records of the earth or something, and now Eric has her own page in the Pacific Records that wasn't there before or something. And
Ooh.
yeah, then the movie's over. Dylan left like right as we were starting the movie, and then he came back and he's like, "Is this thing still going?" I was like, "Yeah, it's only been going for an hour, but it did feel like it went on for a long time."
And then he sit through the whole entire credits.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the credits were only like 5 minutes, but
That's true.
yeah, I don't know about this one. Like, it's just, first of all, maybe it was because I just wasn't totally focused. I had a hard time with the plot in this one. Like, I couldn't keep track of who was doing what and where we were going. And well, the bad guy is very vague, and his motivations, like, I guess he wants to
create peace in the universe but then he found out what was not peaceful for the universe was.
And I guess he's digitizing like everybody after sending Galactrons to just blow stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wish we would have like had a physical form, like alien form of the bad guy, so I don't know, maybe I'd associate with him more. I don't know, but
he was that big monster at the end.
Another big robot monster. Yeah.
And that was his robot form.
Okay. Yeah, and then the acting, like I said, I like Juggler's Juggler. I like Guy when he shows up. I liked Leto, and he's still fun. Riku
is not the best actor.
I mean, yeah, and I didn't really mind him in the show, not that I remember, but in this movie, and I'm sure, I mean, this is not unique to this movie, but he's playing it like an anime character.
Yeah.
Like, he shouts everything. And there's a whole lot of like shots of like his mouth moving in slow motion as he shouts things. And then he's also like really emotional and pouty like an anime character.
Yeah.
He gets really nervous around girls just like an anime character. Like, the whole thing is like an anime character.
And they say his name so many
Riku.
times.
Yeah, so many times. And he shouts Eru or whatever so many times.
Oh my god.
Eru-san. It's like, Okay.
all the
He
time.
gets on my nerves a little bit in this movie, but you know, it is what it is. I
And
guess.
it doesn't help that they have hardly any plot to drive this
Yeah,
play
and
thing
then-
forward.
Yeah, I can't really track any like character arcs or like what is Juggler doing in this movie?
They give him a vague thing like he's there to keep peace.
Well, yeah, I don't really understand. Like he was there, he somehow
overheard-
got in the digital planet or something at one point, or he was somewhere where he overheard their evil plans, and then I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm not sure what his motivation is. He comes to this earth to like figure stuff out. I don't know, but yeah,
There's a reason to have him and Guy in the same place.
there's a reason to have him and Guy here because that's two of their most popular characters.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so, you know, I don't know. I'm running out of things to say about these Ultraman movies. I'm glad we're taking a break from them after this week.
They're all running together.
You know,
for a
I'll
while.
say, pauses, I've railed on this movie quite a bit. There's still, you know, all you can really ask from these things, I guess, is does it give plenty of kaiju action? And it does.
Gives a
A
decent
lot
amount.
of kaiju action, a lot of extended fight sequences, and you know, different kaiju and aliens and transformations, and it cuts down on the transformation sequences from that last movie.
Thank goodness.
I think we only have to watch
one full one.
one transformation scene for each for
They did like simultaneously.
and yeah, they did a simultaneous one for Guy and Riku, and then we had to watch one a brief one later for Zero, but not like that last movie where we had to see every transformation, every power up, and
Like
painstaking
one at a
detail.
time.
Yeah, and so that was an improvement. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's another one of those that feels like an extended episode.
You know, I had to, you know, I didn't like the Gee theme as much in this movie.
We'll talk about score later. But okay, I don't know. We can talk about that later, but I don't know if I agree with that or not. But
It was not the greatest thing. ever.
but yeah, in terms of I don't know. It's a whatever. You want to move on to creature design?
Sure.
We have the Galactrons, giant
All of them.
robot
Galactron Mach 2.
Mark II, and you know, they make like a loud sound, and then they have like cannons on their arms or something. They're white usually in color.
And then, you know, they vary from Galactron to Galactron what they look like slightly.
A
Some
little
have a
bit.
tail.
Yeah.
Some of them have like swords.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them don't have either.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a little bit variations.
They look fine.
They look fine.
We have the Guardian Lion thing, whatever I said his name was. Looked kind of plasticky, but
He was all
it
right.
looked okay, I guess. I don't know. We have the Galvalis superpowered Galactron at the end, which was basically just like a Galactron with a bunch of cannons mounted on it, and
Yeah.
like darker gray in color.
Gray and silverish.
Yeah. And in terms of Ultraman, of course, you know, we have Orb and all of his things, and Zero and all of his things. I guess the new one we need to talk about is Geed. I do like that they gave Geed like the eyes shape of Belial, and it kind of gives him a distinct feature, and it kind
I
of gives him
like
a
it.
little more of a menacing look.
I like Geed's look.
Yeah, but I don't know, other than that, all the different power ups and change up, it's like, okay, I get it. You know?
Even Orb has a power up that looks just like him.
Yeah, and then even Orb has like a Belial combination, so then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, all right, who's who now? And they make a comment
Well,
about that, but
Geed has blue eyes. His
Yeah.
transformation has red eyes.
yeah, until Geed like
Loses
hulks
it.
out and goes red for a little bit, but
He like goes to the dark side.
yeah. But I don't know, it was all fine. And then effects, like, of course, you know, anytime they use CGI is not very good. I do appreciate most of the fight scenes were filmed on model sets and not in a green room. Even the digital planet, it's like the interior looks like a burning city, but it's actually like models, I think, like with real fire in the background, controlled
yeah.
burns in the background. So that was pretty neat. So I appreciate the practical effects as always, you know. And then score, like you said. So you didn't like the Geed song?
It was alright.
I actually appreciated the G theme in this movie, I think, more than I've remembered appreciating it in the past. So I'm kind of the opposite of you. But
I didn't really, I think it the same as when I was watching the show. I was like, it's a mid. It's a mid
theme.
song.
I mean, it's not the best theme ever or anything I'm saying, but
It's
I
a
don't know. I thought
mid tier. It's
yeah,
not
okay.
like the greatest thing ever heard. It's
Yeah.
there. It
Yeah.
does serves its purpose.
serves its purpose. Okay. Well, anyway, you want to do some final thoughts?
Sure.
All right, we'll go for it.
Yeah, this movie, it's there. It has a not the best plot. Not the best villain. The villain is very vague, and it has a goal, but it's a very simplistic goal. They didn't flesh out this villain very much. It's just there to get a villain for the show, just there for a villain.
Yeah.
Common thing, so they could get Ultraman there to fight it.
Yeah.
And, I like probably Juggler's Juggler is my favorite person in this.
Yeah.
Him and Guy have the most in-depth characters that's not like surface level plot.
Yeah.
And like I said, the score, it's there. It's okay. It serves its purpose, but it's not my favorite score of any of the Ultraman. It's like mid tier. It's like it's there. It's okay. I'll listen to it, but not my favorite.
Yeah.
And acting in this, it's okay. They act. They
Yeah.
do what they're supposed to do. They give Riku, like Aaron said, he's a very, very anime protagonist, like
Yeah.
screaming everything, very over dramatic about everything. They do a lot of slow mo of him saying, screaming things, like all good anime.
Like any good anime.
Yeah, I think this movie is about. I'll give it a C-.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, listen, I feel about the same about this one as I have most of these other in-cap Ultraman movies. It's like, they feel like extended episodes. This one's no different. I kind of have a hard time following the plot on this one. Villain's pretty weak. Main character is not, kind of gets on my nerves. I am glad that Juggler's Juggler is here. He brings some much needed personality to this cast. Again, it gives plenty of fight sequences, almost mind-numbingly, extended sometimes, but kaiju action galore. I appreciate the dedication to practical model cities. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of is what it is.
I like the Orb movie better than this one, I think.
Was that the last one? I don't know. They're probably about on par. There's plus and minuses with both of them. I don't know. I'll give this one like a C. I think that's why I gave the last one. I mean, about the same for me. So, anyway,
Anyway,
we're taking a break from Ultraman. And we're going to do what? Are we doing 9 straight weeks of dinosaurs?
9 or
Seven
Six.
Jurassic Park / Jurassic World
7.
movies plus 2 Lost World movies.
yeah,
So
9 weeks
9 straight weeks, basically 2 months
of
of
dinosaurs.
But some news first. A little fun thing. Apparently, because there is a Godzilla hotel room already in Shinjuku. I don't know if it's the same hotel or a different hotel, but they're going to do a Godzilla versus King Ghidorah hotel room. And I looked at the little photo or whatever. They're going to have Godzilla's head coming out of one wall and King Ghidorah's head coming out of the other wall or whatever. It's kind of neat.
I wonder if they have monster safe beds or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. G Kids, which is now owned by Toho, was bought out by Toho, has requested an MPAA rating for Shin Godzilla, leading to a lot of speculation that they are planning to re-release Shin Godzilla in U.S. theaters sometimes this year. So
Ooh.
we'll have to catch that. I don't know if it'll come to our local Malco, but if it maybe plays in Tulsa or something, we can drive up and go see it. So that's neat. And then remember that School Island anime that we watched and reviewed?
Yeah.
Well, they're not gonna continue. It didn't do well enough to be continued in a cartoon, but they're gonna continue that story in a comic book by Legendary. So
Yeah.
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 I'm not gonna read it.
Me either.
Anyway, which is, I mean, honestly, I think when we reviewed that, I said I didn't actually mind it.
I
that
didn't
show.
mind the show.
I would have probably watched a season 2 of the show, but I'm not gonna buy a comic book and read it. But yeah. Anyway, coming on the schedule, what we got? Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Just a quick reminder: we're gonna review the original 1925 Lost World next week. Dylan, I hope, joins us for hopefully all these movies. I think he seems interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we're going to do the 1960 adaptation of The Lost World. And then we're going to do the Jurassic Park movies in the order that they came out. So, be freshening up on those, ready to listen to our reviews. But other than that, I think you can always contact us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com.
And you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And you can always find us on Facebook at Stomp This Way. So, anyway, again, next week, Lost World, and then all the dinosaur movies. And as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we'll see you in the next one.